All right, welcome back. So we are following the ANC's 113th anniversary celebrations. It's happening in Cape Town. And perhaps also throughout the day, we've been speaking to our reporters who have been bringing us the state of readiness and some of the expectations given the key issues that's being faced by the community, the provinces, but also the country at large. Again, we're also going to be looking back, perhaps to where it all started for the ANC. This is a trip down memory lane and some historical facts. So Sampiwe earlier on just gave you some of the facts since its formation back in 1912. We also know that leadership has become crucial and an integral part of the ANC as well. So on your screens, you can see that graphic there, just visually being represented, some of the past presidents of the ANC. We know that back in 1912, until 1917, John Langalibalele Dube was the first president. It was followed by Sefako Makgato, who then took over from him between 1917 and 1924. The next tenure was headed up by Z.R. Mahabane. That was between 1924 and 1927. Josiah Gumede then following shortly after that, but between 1927 and 1930. Of course, Pixie Gaisaka Seme took over at the helm of the ANC 1930 to 1937, with Z.R. Mahabane returning after Pixie Gaisaka Seme between 1937 and 1940. A.B. Quma 1940 to 1949, leading the African National Congress there. And then James Moroka took over between 1949 and 1952. Albert Luthuli, Chief Albert Luthuli, in fact, also coming in to take over the president of the ANC between 1952 and 1967. And then between that period of 1967 and 1991, Oliver Reginald Tambo took over. The democratic elections were held in South Africa. President Nelson Mandela took over at the helms, leading from 1991, perhaps ushering in as first black president of the Democratic Republic of South Africa. And his tenure ended during 1997. We know that he served as one full term. Thabo Mbeki then taking over between 1997 and 2007. Jacob Zuma, we know, then followed that. He took over between 2007 and 2017. The current president, but obviously Cyril Ramaphosa having taken over between 2017 his tenure set to end between 2027. And so that's just a visual representation of the past presidents of the ANC, the leadership, each of them having an impactful, stance on the ANC, but the country at large, obviously also ushering in their first democratic elections. So we're looking at where they've started, its relevance from a liberation movement into a governing party, some of the issues that continue to plague, and of course, where to from here as we edge closer to the 2026 government elections. We know that the ANC, marking its 113th anniversary, is also trying to salvage what happened during the 29th of May elections. It's on the back of the weakest electoral performance to date in the history of the democratic ruling. So we're going to be continuing with our coverage on the SABC. In fact, with our reporters stationed across the Khayelitsha to bring us the latest. Let's go back to Cape Town now. Samkele Maseko once again is standing by. Samkele, good morning. So we really have, seen the picture being painted, the expectations ahead of 22,000 people that is set to be turning out for the event. The key issues as well. What else can we expect as we edge closer? I know that the key January 8th statement, different to the previous January 8th statement, of course, where the president was campaigning for, votes. We're obviously now looking at what to expect now with this formation of government of national unity, why it happened, but also just accountability at large and where to from here, gaining the public trust again. What's being witnessed on your side as we edge closer to that statement?
Well, Liesl, at this point in time, we can say that ANC members have started trickling in. They are in their large numbers now inside this Nelson Mandela Memorial Park in Khayelitsha. I am with Tandi Mahambehlala, ANC NEC member and a former PEC member of the ANC here in the province of the Western Cape. Back in 2015, when they held that particular January 8th at the DHL Stadium, former Greenpoint Stadium. She was the bus coordinator. Many years later, you are here today in Khayelitsha. Just the remnants of the decision. You are a former PEC member here in the Western Cape, looking at the state of the ANC in this province, your base here in Khayelitsha. how do you regain lost ground? And having that spectacular of a rally that you had back in 2015, replicating it today. Looking at the ANC, how do you regain lost ground that you have lost over the years here in the Western Cape? Coming back to the people of Khayelitsha, what does it signify?
Thank you very much, Samkele. First of all, the ANC never had outright majority in the Western Cape. We've been leading and governing the Western Cape through these kind of coalitions which were there between the NNP and the flow crossing had helped us very much so. We did not lose ground in the Western Cape because people did not want the ANC. We lost ground in the Western Cape mainly because people were tired of the disparities that we see and the fact that they live in squalor. And they blame the ANC to say that the ANC, where are you? Come, even if you are from national. That's why we took a posture to say from national we are going to intervene in the Western Cape and ensure that our people are served, our people are serviced, because the government of the day doesn't care less about our people. We've driven to door-to-doors. We were here before elections. We are here now to ensure that we do the things that we promised people about. There have been fires throughout the Western Cape. We did not see the government of the day. We had to ensure that people are assisted on Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve, on Boxing Day. We were with the people. We went door to door. We've seen that our people, they don't have basic services. They don't have water. They don't have any, and that is a basic responsibility of the city of Cape Town as a municipality. But because they believe in ensuring that they must assist and service the people in Constantia, Khayelitsha, Philippi, Guguletu, this that you see, it is simply because the people have been abandoned. As a National Executive Committee, we were presented by many venues, different stadiums, even in Poland region. But we chose that let's come to Khayelitsha, listen to our people, do what we said we are going to do during elections, and we are coming back to Khayelitsha to ensure that people are serviced in Khayelitsha, because the government of the day is even unable to do what we call a reblocking, open the streets in the informal settlements that are there so that emergency services are able to come in and swiftly intervene when there's fires and so on, but they are unable to do that because the government of the day doesn't even care to do the reblocking, even though they get the allocation from national for that. They are underspending. They send back money to National Treasury because they don't give a damn about the people in our townships here. Or they take John's money and pay Peter with John's money. That has been a modus operandi. But we are here to say, people of Khayelitsha, the ANC from national government will ensure that services are brought to you. We are going to make sure that you are serviced. We've been crisscrossing the province in its entirety to ensure that we capture every moment where people need this or that. We are coming back as ANC.
When you look at the January 8 statement, what will be the main key points that will speak to the bread and butter issues of the people of Khayelitsha, Mitchell's Plain, Guguletu, Philip?
The statement of the ANC also will speak to the interventions that we've made already, because remember, we've not been sitting, we've been assessing the situation throughout the country. We've been speaking on issues. We know that our people wanted electricity, wanted us to end load shedding, and load shedding has been ended. So the president will also speak about the deliverables by the ANC and the interventions that we've made and the interventions that we're still making. We know that the government of the day has abandoned the EPWP, which was some kind of an immediate intervention to ensure that at least people, they put bread in their tables. But this government has abandoned that particular program. This government has abandoned the program of the neighborhood watches, where we had safer schools previously. When Comrade Ibrahim was still a premier, there were safer schools programs, but the government of the day decided that no, we're doing away. That's why they are unable to mitigate the issues of crime, even in schools, even in townships. The neighborhood watches that they are resourcing is neighborhood watches from affluent areas. So in the statement, the ANC will be able to tell the people what is it that we are going to do to intervene on all the issues. Because remember, the president previously, for the elections campaigns, he was here. He saw the sewage spilling on the road and he spoke about it and he was sad about it. So the president also will reflect on how are we going to make sure that we intervene in ensuring that there's no sewage spillage in the streets of Khayelitsha, in the streets of Missions Plain, in the streets of Philippi, in the streets of Kukuletu. Those interventions are going to be presented by the president and also send a message of the National Executive Committee on such issues.
Looking at the strength of your structures, how strong are your structures in the Cape Metro and the other regions of the Western Cape? How strong are your structures?
The structures, as you see here today, they are very strong. In Khayelitsha, we've got branches of the ANC which are in good standing. The Deputy President was in Southern Cape, and Southern Cape presented a strong ANC. And the ground for us is very fertile. That's why you are here, even in Khayelitsha, to say to the people, we've heard you. You protested, you did not go out and vote for the ANC, simply because you wanted us to address certain issues. So we are going to address those issues, and the President will be responding to all the issues that they've been raised by the people. Structures in the Western Cape were very strong. There is no program of the ANC that had failed. Yesterday we had the Peter Mukaba Memorial Lecture in Khayelitsha, and the ANC Youth League also is very strong. You've got a Women's League that is very strong. So structures in the Western Cape, they are very strong, and a program is what unites the ANC, and a program of action is what gives us the strength. Whether the strength or there's no strength, you should have seen by this time the stadium would have not been full. This stadium is going to be filled by the ANC structures, and it will be in rafters. We're going to have overflows, not one, not two, and that is a representation and a clear indication that structures in the Western Cape, they are still alive and kicking.
Thank you very much, Tandi Mahambehlala, ANC NEC member, speaking about the strength of the ANC structures, what the people of Khayelitsha, Kukuletu, Philippi, Mitchell's Plain, Athlone, and many other parts of this Western Cape that they can anticipate from the January 8th statement of the National Executive Committee. It is now about 60-70% full, with people flocking into this area, some coming in with the minibus taxis, some just walking across from their homes.
All right, thanks, Samkele. We can hear hive of activity behind you, obviously, as the day continues. So we'll continue to monitor those developments for the ANC's 113th anniversary celebrations.